Okay, so this is some real talk. I want you to raise your hand if you've ever been in the middle of your workday and thought, wait, am I literally running this business right now? You look at what's on your plate and you see project timelines you mapped out, team members you're keeping on track, systems you built from scratch because nobody else was going to do it, and launches that you're managing, maybe clients you're essentially being a strategic partner for, and yet your title says something like virtual assistant, or maybe you're still in corporate, quietly holding an entire department together while your official job description says something wildly different from what you actually do. We are going to walk through the very specific signs that you are already operating like an online business manager, whether you know it or not. And trust me, you are probably already doing things right now that are literally the definition of OBM level work. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Hey guys, welcome to the OBM show. I'm Sarah Noked, and I've been in the online business management world for well over a decade. I am the CEO of OBM School and have personally helped hundreds of individuals transition into the OBM role around the world. And if you want to know the number one thing I hear from almost every single student before they join OBM School, I didn't even realize I was already doing OBM work just as an underpaid VA or tied to a desk at my 9 to 5. So let's find out if this is you too. I want to give you a really quick and clear picture of what an online business manager actually is, because this is the role that we are talking about, and I want it to land properly. So an online business manager is the strategic operations leader inside a growing business. We're not doing the task execution, we're overseeing it. We're managing the team, building and maintaining the systems, leading the launches, and keeping the big picture in focus and making sure that the business is actually running like a well-oiled machine instead of a total chaos show. So we work very closely with business owners, usually small to mid-size, online businesses and offline businesses, and we take the operational burden off of their plate so that they can focus on growing. So we charge according for that. And typically the range is anywhere between $60 to $150 per hour and beyond, or on a monthly retainer that reflects the strategic value we bring. So here's what makes this role so special and honestly a little sneaky, is that so many people are already doing OBM level work. They just haven't been positioning themselves that way or charging for it at that level, which is exactly what this video is here to fix. So let's get into sign number one. Sign number one is that you are the one everyone comes to when something goes wrong. So you know how in every team, in every business, in every operation, there's always that one person who just holds it all together. The person who gets the panicked Slack messages, the one who gets the, hey, do you have a quick minute when something's on fire? That person is you, isn't it? Now, on the surface, this might just feel like being the go-to person, but what's actually happening is that you are the operational anchor of that business. You are the person with enough of the big picture in your head to be trusted when things go sideways. And that, my friend, is not a task doer trait. That is the leadership trait. And that is an OBM trait. So OBMs are the ones business owners lean on when the wheels start to wobble, right? They're the strategic partner who knows how everything is connected. And so when something breaks, they know how to fix it and how to make sure it doesn't break again. If that's already you, unofficially and unpaid for it at the right rate or under a different title, that is sign number one. Now, sign number two is that you think in systems and processes, not just tasks. Here's a question for you. When you are brought into a new project or a new client situation, what's the first thing your brain does? If your honest answer is something like, I immediately start thinking about how this could be more organized, or I built a workflow doc because otherwise nothing was going to make sense, or I created a Notion board or a ClickUp space or an actual spreadsheet tracker because I could see there was no system here. then congratulations. You think like an OBM. And most people look at a task and think, how do I complete this? OBMs look at a task and think, how does this fit into the bigger picture? How do we make this repeatable? And how do we make sure it doesn't fall apart when I'm not here? Standard operating procedures, systems, workflows, documentation. These, my friend, are the backbone of a very well-run online business. And if you are someone who instinctively reaches for structure when there's chaos, you are wired for this role. Now, the third sign is that you manage people, not just projects. And this one is huge. And it's a really clear line between a VA or an entry-level online service provider sits. Sign number 3 is that you manage people, not just projects. And this one is huge, and it's a really clear line between where a VA or even an entry-level online service provider sits versus where an OBM sits. So if you find yourself coordinating between team members, if you're the one following up with the copywriter to make sure the content is ready before the designer needs it, if you're assigning tasks, checking in on progress, navigating team dynamics, or stepping in when there's friction between people, you are doing team management. And team management is a core OBM function. A lot of people in this position don't call it team management. They call it just keeping track of things on the tracker or making sure no one drops the ball. But that is team management. That's leadership. And leadership has a dollar amount attached to it that's much higher than execution work. If you've ever written a team update or run a team call, delegated work to someone else, or mediated a miscommunication between team members, sign number 3 is absolutely yours. Now, another sign number 4, is that you know the business almost as well as the business owner does. Now, if you've been working closely with the business owner for any significant amount of time and you find yourself in a position where you could genuinely describe their revenue model, their product suite, their launch calendar, their team structure, their biggest bottlenecks, and their goals for the next 6 months, that is not normal assistant territory. That is strategic partner territory. And OBMs are often described as the business owner's right hand, their sounding board, their operational co-pilot, the person who holds the vision of the business almost as tightly as the owner does. So that when the owner inevitably comes up or comes in with a new shiny idea at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, or even worse on a Friday, there is someone who says, okay, here's where that all fits with what we're already building, and here's what we need to do to shift to make it work. That person commands real rates and long-term retainers. And if that person is already you need to hear this. You are worth so much more than you are currently charging. Now, another sign number 5, is that you are managing launches or big initiatives end to end. So launches are one of the most complex, high pressure, multi-moving part events in any online business. And if you have been the person behind the scenes, keeping a launch together, managing the timeline, the tech, the teams, the deliverables, the email sequences, the contingency plans when things inevitably go slightly sideways, you are doing work that is firmly in OBM territory. This applies to launches, but also to any major initiative, a rebrand, a website overhaul, a new program rollout, a team restructure. These are complex, cross-functional projects that require someone to hold the entire map in their head and make sure every piece lands on time and in order. If you've been that person, or if you are the one who naturally wants to be that person because seeing all the pieces come together is genuinely something that satisfies you, that is a core OBM strength. And it is one of the most significant things that separates OBMs from other online service professionals. Now, another sign number 6, is that you feel undertitled and underpaid for the work you're actually doing. Now, I have to be real about this one because it's probably the most common sign I see, and honestly the most frustrating, because It is one to really get stuck in. So if you look at your to-do list, your client work, your daily responsibilities, and you feel that underlying itch, that quiet, nagging sense that what you're doing and what you're being recognized and paid for, they don't just match up, then you are experiencing something that has a name. It's called operating above your current positioning, and it is incredibly common in this space, right? We also call it the OBM in disguise. So one of our accreditation graduates, Jenny Kavanagh, described it perfectly. And you can check out her day in the life episode also on the podcast or the YouTube channel. She said, before OBM school, I was stuck in that cycle of over-delivering and undervaluing my work. I didn't know how to explain what I did because I was doing everything. That feeling of doing everything and charging little for too much, that's the gap. That gap is your positioning and your confidence in owning the role that you are already playing. Okay. Now, sign number 7 is pure execution work bores you. And this is last but not least, and might be the most honest sign of them all. Do you find yourself getting just a wee bit antsy when you are stuck in pure task execution mode? Like, you do the task, it gets done fine, but part of your brain is already thinking about the bigger picture, the strategy behind it, what else could have been improved while you're in the here, what this means for the next launch happening next quarter. So if you've ever caught yourself building a system when you were just asked to do a task, if you have ever created a process doc that no one asked for because you could see it was going to be needed, if you have ever sat in a meeting and thought, I could run this whole operation more effectively, that restlessness is not a problem. That is the OBM brain doing exactly what it's wired to do. OBMs are big picture thinkers who love structure, strategy, and making things run better. So if you are someone who genuinely gets a kick out of seeing a business become more efficient because of what you put in place, you belong in this role. Okay, so if you've been nodding along with this video, whether it was 1 sign, 3 signs, or honestly all 7, I want you to really sit with what that means for a second. You have been doing this work, maybe not under the right title, maybe not with the right structure and positioning that would really let it shine, but you have been doing it. The skills are there. The instincts are there. The potential is absolutely there, but what's missing isn't ability. What's missing is the pathway to formalize what you're already doing so you can own it, package it, charge for it properly, and build a business around it that actually reflects the level that you are operating at. And that is exactly where OBM accreditation comes in. Our OBM accreditation is hands-on, CPD-certified program specifically designed for people who are already operating at a high level. VAs, service providers, corporate professionals who are ready to step fully into the OBM role with credentials, a system, a community, and the confidence to back it all up. You will graduate with a portfolio of real-world client-simulated projects that prove your ability to operate at this level. Now, if this sounds interesting, check it out via the link below and feel free to reach out to my team with any questions that you might have. All right, let me leave you with this. If this episode gave you even one moment of, oh wow, that's so me, don't brush past that. This recognition is really important because it's the difference between where you are right now and where you could be as an OBM. And the divide isn't as wide as you might think. For a lot of people, it's just about finally stepping into what they've already been doing and claiming it. So if you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment below and let me know which of these signs resonated most with you. And don't forget to give it a like and hit subscribe so that we can help reach more people who are in need of this information and who need to hear this. And if you aren't already, subscribe to our OBM show via your favorite podcast platform so you never miss a new episode. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, keep doing the incredible work that you are clearly already doing. Just get paid for it properly, okay?